Uh, Good afternoon. Namaskar. This is Professor Aman Agarwal from Indian Institute of Finance. And we bring you another webinar and series on the essence of life and growth. Today, our honored guest is a dear friend and a family member, Dr. Sandeep Marwah. My father has known him. I have known him. We've known each other for almost 3 decades now. As we were just discussing a minute before off the record earlier, was the fact that my father used to come for one of his very favorite and important programs called Subhe Savere, which he used to broadcast at DD through his production house, Marwah Studios. And I will introduce him, but before that, I would like to give the disclaimer. We are observing all norms and requirements as advised by the Ministry of Home Affairs for conducting online and Zoom meetings. We have gone to the secure platform on 18th of April 2020. And as a result, to go on to the secure platform, we had made Zoom registration mandatory. I know a lot of people have been facing problems, but that is something in terms of security we wanted to introduce for everybody and not specifically for us. We would keep your audios and videos off during this session. You are requested to kindly keep them off throughout the session. We will open them, and you can open them if you have questions towards the end, and we will be happy to entertain your questions towards the end when I open it for public questioning. And thank you very much for all joining us. I know people have come from different parts of the world. I see someone from UAE. I see someone from also from US and other places, and it's your warm welcome here to be with us. Now I would like to introduce our guest today. He doesn't need an introduction, and you more you read and there's more you want to read about him. He is a very pleasing personality. I have always felt enlightened whenever I have been in his company. And one good thing I have always felt about him is whenever I have approached him for anything, I've asked him for anything, he's always said yes to me. And that's something which is despite the fact that I have seen him work in his office where he's not left for a second. Someone or the other is always marching up on his time, whether it is people who want to get his autograph or people who want to get some signatures done or some official work or people who want to just come and greet him. But he's always been in the limelight with people, but he has never said no. And that's something which I really feel impressed. He's never allowed anyone to wait outside and be waiting for him in specific. If he is not able, we would, Dr. Sandeep Marwah is a personality, and for the city of Noida, he has a special place because, we have Bollywood, we have Tollywood, we have Hollywood in the US, but the one which he made in Noida and Delhi, NCR, was the Noida Film City. He brought life to the Noida Film City, which, may not be as big as Bollywood or Tollywood, but began as humble beginning almost about 25 years back, if I remember correctly. And, we will learn more about him from him, but he has been the founding father of the film setup in the city of Delhi NCR, trying to bring film industry here. Although he has a large linkage with the film industry, but we are talking about him today, so I will not go to them. Dr. Sandeep Marwah is a renowned international media personality. He is a global cultural minister. He represents India and takes India's flag high up in the sky wherever he goes. And that is something which is remarkable, to put our India's flag. Like there are mountaineers who climb and put the flag there, he has been putting our India's flag not only in media, in journalism, and in the sphere of culture and arts across the globe. There is not a country where he has not touched the hearts of people, where he has not called them to be part of the Indian culture, to be collaborated. I see his events almost every second day. Very active person, and I feel zealed up when I see his activities. It is a motivation for me in person. And I tell my students that, you need to learn and see the activeness which this young man has and has brought into the zeal of media, journalism, and culture and arts in this country. He is the founder chairman of Marwah Studios, one of the first ever foundations of laying down the stone of the studio setup in the Noida Film City, which he carved out in Delhi NCR. And he is also the founder chairman of the first film academy called the Asian Academy of Film and Television, and of the first university in this area, which is called AAFT University, the Asian Academy of Film and Television, University of Media and Arts, based out of Uttar Pradesh. I think Uttar Pradesh feel proud of you, sir. You are a true son of India, a son who has brought films and arts to the great and the global frame. You know, I have seen large number of students of yours. I have met some of very successful people who are editors, who are journalists, whose voice makes a call. You know, your efforts, your dedication has brought life to their lives. And multiple, hundreds and millions of them have benefited from your contribution. And as you were telling, I'm very happy that you just mentioned before we started that you have actually been able to get all your students and your staff who are from outside in their homes at least about 3 or 4 days prior to the lockdown, so they could be in the comfort of their family while we go through this lockdown framework. And I think that's where the media information, which is their effects with you and the way you function, is important. He's also the president of the International Chamber of Media and Entertainment Industries, called the ICMEI. And more than that, he has got a large number of awards. You know, I had difficulty in picking up which one to quote and which one not to quote, and it was difficult. But then, since I have myself addressed about 6-7 parliaments in the last 20 years, I've had the honor to address the Italian parliament, the Swedish, the Finnish, the Uzbek, the European parliament, and the Danish parliament. So I thought, you know, I'll pick up those 3 components where these parliaments have honored you. I was also invited to the House of Lords to address, and it was an honor, but I was not honored there. But we have a young man here who, you know, who not only brings smiles to people's families, smiles to himself, but has brought India big smiles. He's been honored by the House of Commons in the British Parliament in London. He's been honored by the Bavaria Parliament in Munich in Germany. And he's been honored as the champion of Wales in the Welsh Parliament. Now Wales, beginning of this year, is a separate constitution altogether. It is no longer a major part of UK as a kingdom or the conglomerate, but as Wales. So that's why that's from January 2020, in fact. Although he was honored when it was still a part of the UK, but it was by the Welsh Parliament, which independently functioned, but was part of the conglomerate like the United States of America. So we are very happy and warm welcome. And the other day, as I was telling you, Dr. Nidhi Kumar was highly appreciative of you. She was charmed, and she said, I would also want to join and listen to him, because it's been a long time that I have met him, and I would love to meet him someday soon. Because she's also doing some very good creative work, and she wanted to interact with you on some of those fronts. And I said, yes, I will do convey your message to him. But she was very excited to see that I have invited you and you are there with me. As the objective of this webinar is on essence of life and growth, and the prime objective, as I explained to you over the phone, was primarily to bring in positivity from your own life experiences and share some of your life experiences. I have a list of questions. But before I begin that, you know, I primarily conceived this with the fact that every one of us has lived 30, 40 years of work experience life. And we have developed a perception of ups and downs in our personal life, work life, and environment, whether it is domestic or global environment. And you have been a growth popular. You have seen all kinds of economies, whether it's in Africa, whether you talk of Asia, whether you talk of United States or Latin America. As I said, there is not a country which has not touched the feats of Dr. Sandeep Marwah. And I think that is something which makes it so pleasurable and important for me. I would like you, if you can spare a few minutes before I begin the interview process for the next half an hour, maybe in a 5 minutes, just if you can explain your journey of life from the very young child, teen Marwah, Sandeep Marwah, to the smiling and workaholic or a person who has taken India to such heights, Sandeep Marwah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Aman, for giving such a huge, big profile of mine. You have really expressed in a very flourish way. Well, let me start with 2 lines. I'm recollecting कि सभी दिशाओं से शुभ सुंदर भाव विचार भरे नित अंतर पुण्य धरा बन जाए स्वर्ग ये मेरे यत्नों से करुणा कर. Let me explain to you, whether it is north, south, east or west, whether you're in India or abroad, whether you're on the top of the hill or you're standing at a seashore, whether you are in a lush green garden and looking at some colorful flowers, or maybe looking at the most beautiful woman on earth. But the fact is, there are two things which are much more beautiful than what you can see with your naked eyes. And these two things are your thinking and your feelings. And the best part is that both the things are right within you. You don't even need eyes for that. On this very auspicious day, let's pray, hey Lord, give me good thinking, give me good feelings so that I can do good deeds. And through my good karmas, I would love to convert this earth into heaven. That's what I believe in. And this is my ideology. Let me put it first on the paper. So this is how, and I learned these lines when I was in school. And I think that has molded me absolutely according to what I am talking right now. I have been a very popular student in my school only because of my total involvement into art and culture, co-curricular activities, and I was also good in my education. Same thing happened in my college. When I reached college, I almost became the most popular student of my college, and I was rather forced to get into election. I won my election, came into the board of Delhi University, and I enjoyed my political power when I was in college. It was a wonderful experience, and that gave me enough strength to get into different kind of events in different colleges for almost all those 3 years when I was in college. So I think what I believe that it is very important to get a proper education at a school as well as at a college level, and all your basic culture comes from your home. So I can come to the conclusion that it is very important for parents to get involved with the kids especially at the time of school and college, so that they can build up a good human being. And school and colleges, they have to get involved with individually with the students so that they can build up a wonderful character, a wonderful nationalist from the school and colleges. I think I've been very lucky because I was a part of one of the finest schools, Sardar Patel Vidyalaya. I've been a product of Bhagat Singh College. So you can well imagine my ideology. For 11 years, Sardar Patel, and for 3 years, Bhagat Singh. So that's what I am today, a very nationalist, very patriotic. I love my country. I can do anything for my country. My every activity is meant for my people. And by the time I pass out my post-graduation, and then the second post-graduation, and the third post-graduation, and then my ideology started becoming more rigid. So I realized that if I have to do something, I must do for my country, for my nation. I probably wrote 3 principles when I was a kid. Number 1, because I love film, television, media, art, and culture from my childhood, and I wanted to do anything and everything for this industry. I realized that I belong to this beautiful country called India, and I decided that I must do something for my nation. And third thing I realized, because I had such a wonderful spiritual education at my home from my parents, I realized that we are human beings, and I must do something for humanity. With all these 3 principles, I started working, and God has been very kind and never looked back.
Thank you. No, it's beautifully in the first 2 lines, actually, you brought out the gist of the life and the path you lead, the way you lead with thinking and feeling, which is very critical. Most of us end up doing things, but not even thinking and feeling them. And that's where we end up doing some things wrong, I think, in my opinion. Now, Dr. Marwah, as the topic goes, the essence of life and growth, I would appreciate if you could introspect into your own life and see what are those key elements you feel which are essential to outline when we look at the life and growth.
See, I think it all starts with the beginning, how I learned. And I remember I was sitting, it was a winter time, and I was sitting in my garden in my house, and there was a vendor who was shouting and selling oranges. And repeatedly he was shouting at his peak of his voice. And after 5-7 minutes, when I heard him enough, I got up, went up to my gate and asked him, I said, sir, can you just give me everything what you're carrying? He looked at me, he was surprised that how come someone buying all the 14 dozen of oranges he was carrying on his the radar, the ready. And he started packing. He packed around about 14 bags and give it to me. And I asked him how much money. He asked me one particular price, and I immediately paid him, and I passed on all that stuff to my chowkidar to carry inside. When I was about to turn, he said, "Excuse me, sir, can I ask you one question?" I said, "Why not?" He says, "Number one, that I've never seen a person who's going to buy the whole ready at one go. Somebody buys one orange, somebody buys 5 oranges, somebody a dozen or 2 dozen. You bought the whole. And second thing, that you never even asked the price." Then I told him, "My dear friend, you don't know that you have given me the essence of life." And a sense of life was because when he was shouting, "Ke achhe santare, achhe santare," he was shouting, "Achhe santare." Mujhe sunai de raha tha, "Achhe sang tare." That if you are in a good company, you're bound to be successful. And that is how I have learned that everyone in your life can be a teacher, or maybe a kid, or maybe a student, maybe a teacher, maybe your neighbor, or anyone. And the most important thing in life is that if you start behaving like a student throughout your life, you are going to be a learner, you're going to be intelligent, and you're going to have ample stuff in your account. And you can always, you'll have an answer for every problem at given time. I think this is how you go and grow in life.
So I must say that is so beautiful, and all my speakers have said so many things, but the way you have put it in such simple manner, and the way, it's impressive. I think it's such a great learning which is there. In fact, the Rig Veda's quote of 1-89.1 also says the same. Let noble thoughts come to us from every side. And I think that's something which you have practically seen and lived with. One thing which I also said, you talked about spirituality. And, it's important because all my discussions, everybody has said that there is a major impact of spirituality when it comes to understanding life and growth. Do you think positivity gets inspired through spirituality as well?
Definitely. I mean, like, it's basically what you are and how you think. I mean, like, what is your upbringing? It matters a lot. I mean, like, I'm a teacher also. I'm happy that government has nominated me as Chancellor of the university, and this is because of my experience. When you look at a student, you can instantly make out what is the surroundings and what is the condition today in the house of this particular student. Why? Because what you are in the classroom shows the culture of the family, and what you are at home shows your training and education at your education setup. So you have to, and you can immediately find out, and that's what matters, my dear friend. If the environment at home is good, if your parents are taking interest in you, if your father and mother have sat with you and guided you some of the good points of humanity, if your family elders or your grandparents been there and they have talked about good things, old stories, that means somewhere down the line you have been prepared well. If you're prepared well, you will be able to understand the positivity. If your programming is already crushed programming, then no CD will play. True. No program will be uploaded. It's True. Like that. So it's True. Very important that, and I'm happy that in India, probably I must say 99% of the families, they take a lot of interest in kids, and we, through our stories, through our epics, through our prayers, we've been actually teaching our kids what spirituality is all about. A small 12th class student probably can speak about spirituality better than probably a doctor in USA. You know that?
Correct.
And they're amazed that how come Indians, they know so much about spirituality. Now, spirituality is nothing but a humanity, and humanity is nothing that a good human being. That's all.
True, true. No, I agree with you. I think that spirituality does induce that particular framework. And you rightly said that students are more learned today, and they are.
And then at the end of the day, sir, all religion, they just try to bring back to you humanity.
True. I also read this saying, I don't know if you agree with it, that life is inherently unpredictable and insecure. We live in a world of uncertainties. So do you really feel that life is inherently unpredictable and insecure?
You see, this is a law of nature. When you're born, you know there is a day when you have to leave. Nobody knows the exit date. So you just cannot sit like an animal and start wasting time and looking for the play to finish.
Correct.
You have to, and scientists have given average that a human being can live for 60, 70, 80, 90, up to 100 years. The average age, what our ancestors through different epics and through different Vedas have given you 100 years to live. It's only human being who has spoiled his life by all those artificial things which you have inducted into your life, and you have actually reduced your own life. If you look back into the history, the human being, they have lived for 100 years.
Correct.
So an average life today is 74, 75 years, and you have enough time to prove your worth, your existence on this earth.
True. Dr. Marwah, I would love to know, how do you go about celebrating life?
Well, see, the fact is that the first most important thing is that develop yourself as a good human being.
Correct.
Keep your thoughts positive. I swear I'm telling you, every day is a celebration.
Correct.
Every day you feel like a festival. Our ancestors were not foolish because they know that human being is bound to get depressed, is bound to get let down, is bound to feel lonely, if not today, maybe tomorrow, one of these days. So they have already inducted festivals, activities, celebrations, purposely, so that even if you're depressed, even you're feeling lonely, even you are feeling let down or cheated, at least these things will bring back life into your day-to-day affair. And when you know that these things, why not to develop your own celebrations? So it's better that today is your birthday, it's my birthday, today it's weather is good, today my friend has come, today I'm going to a party, today, you can always look an excuse to feel happy. True. People, unfortunately, in today's age, people are looking an excuse to feel sad.
True.
They're just finding out something or other, और कुछ नहीं किया तो सारा blame सरकार पर डाल दिया.
Correct. I agree. It's this pessimistic attitude which people have, that they keep finding some fault or the other, trying to induce that.
And that makes you a weak worker, unfortunately.
Yes, I agree. And you said it very right. You need to be in good company, positive company, people who actually motivate you, things that motivate you, make you positive instead of looking at negativity all around. And when we have so much of positivity all around, you have been involved in building, in creating human resource, in building that human capital. I feel we have, different parts of the world, different decades have focused on different aspects. Some decades on finance, some on marketing, some on HR. And, then there have been different core elements which they're focused on. But I personally feel that the following decades would be focusing on human capital, preserving human capital, building human capital. And you have been involved in this activity for over 3 decades now. Not only human capital, you have brought the film industry to Delhi NCR. You tried to induce that life into here because entertainment is an important component of life. And, you try to induce that to the best of your capabilities. Largely, I would say you have been able to do, although we have more news offices now in the film city than other entertainment sources like the studios, except for yours, for building movies and films. but then still there is that life which gets in. Now, when you're looking at this human capital, how can one enhance this human capital so that they have a better understanding of the essence of life and growth? Maybe from your own example as to what you do at your university or college, if you can help us understand that as well.
Let me tell you one thing. The end result of developing human resources in the most positive manner is that my student, 90% of my students, they are working in their chosen fields. They have sustained themselves into this beautiful industry. And I'm not talking about those 10% because exceptions are always there. Girls got married, some students joined their father's business, somebody got transfer of residence. So I'm not talking about those. But reason is only what you're talking about. It's very important to give an opportunity to human being to fulfill his or her desires. The whole human psychology gets disturbed and get hurt when you don't get space to fulfill your desires, your requirements. And trust me, if you will look into the hearts and mind of people, they are not looking for a palace, they're not looking for a very expensive car, they're not looking for a 5-star hotel stay, but they have the urge and desire to do something of their choice. This is the biggest weakness of a human being, and unfortunately, people who were less educated, I'm talking about probably the parents, the grandparents, probably the teachers, probably your neighbors, your family members, they've been forcing students to do what they want or wanted. So the students always been restless, irritated, and not ready to change. The rigidness start coming in when he is not getting an outlet to fulfill his small little desires. And now the fact is that this is what I do. I have a wonderful relationship with my students. I know my students absolutely on an individual level. I see to it that they should be given a full platform, a position, an exposure, a setup to fulfill their desires, requirements, their feelings, and they feel happy. And once you are happy, you are bound to listen, you're bound to be positive, you are going to be a hard and honest worker, and you are bound to grow.
No,
I can't hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, you beautifully pointed out. You beautifully pointed out the essence of human capital and how do you go about building it. If you can also highlight, I also read that one must invest in oneself to induce growth and happy living. You have been a teacher, you have been a creator, a motivator. How does one go about investing in oneself? Because that's something which a lot of people find difficult because they're in this rush for earning money. They're stressed out. How does one go about doing that investment in oneself?
See, the best way is that if you ask me, I always ask people to start writing, what do you want in life? What are your ideas? Where you would like to be after 5 years, 10 years, and ultimately in your 40s? What is the kind of education and a training you are looking for? What is your expectation from parents? What is your expectation from institution? And what is your expectation from masses or a country? When you start writing, you start pinpointing. If you just ask someone at random, like a roadside journalist, कि साहब बताइए आपका क्या ख्याल है on this particular subject, they just start talking at random without sometimes even applying a mind. But the minute you start writing, it's a law of nature that you start concentrating your, और आपकी जितनी इंद्रियां हैं वो आपके इस हाथ की और पेन की नोक पर पहुंच जाती हैं और आपकी सारी शक्ति उसके ऊपर आ जाती है. And then you start concentrating, and then the right answer comes in. And then you realize that there is actually no problems. Everything is available, everything is happening, everything is on the way, and I am becoming achiever. I am learning. My parents are good, my teachers are good, my institution is good. I have been now brought up in best of the see, and you realize that actually there is no problem as such. It's only a psychological problem.
True.
And you realize that when the minute you realize that there is no problem, life becomes easy.
True. True. I agree. That's true. I have three more questions for you before I open the house for people at large.
Please, please.
One is that you have been in the government framework. You have been working with large number of governments. Large number of government officials have been coming. Governments have been interacting with you from time to time. And as you might have seen, the world for the last 3 decades has been going through a lot of problems, a lot of troubles, and each governments are perplexed with these uncertainties and problems, whether it is employment, jobs, situation like SARS or COVID or growth fall down or GDP numbers going down or military problems. Everything has been coming one after the other. Something or the other is there. The world financial meltdown from the US and so on and so forth. What do you think the governments could do to have smooth induction of growth, specifically from the perspective of happy living in the lives of people? I know they cannot give happiness to people. That I understand very well. It's not like a tablet that you can give to someone. But then, they could induce systems, they could create frameworks. And as an educator, as a person who brings life to people, who multiplies their happiness, I would like to know what you would want to suggest to governments across the globe as to what should they do?
See, number one, let me ask you this question. Do you know that how hardworking, how honest, how sophisticated, how polite, how put all the adjectives on you, and you know that still there'll be some people who will be irritated with you, not happy with you, abuse you and accuse you, and they will be cribbing at some corner कि जिंदगी मेरी इन्होंने खराब कर दी. Now, and now you look back into yourself. Is that was the purpose of yours? No, no senior executive, no managing director, chairman, no prime minister, no president of the country, no big officer of the department, no minister of the ministry will ever think like that. It's a perception of the people which is generally created and supported by those people who are also suffering with the same disease. It's a disease. Because I have found, and many stations I found, you will find same people cribbing for the same different causes.
Correct.
And I have found there are a group of people who are happy in every situation.
True.
Whether income tax has increased or decreased, they're still happy. GST is come or is gone, still happy. They say, यार देना तो है. अगर देश में रहना है, तो ये मानना ही पड़ेगा. So they adjust themselves so fast with the situation that there is actually no sense of cribbing. Now imagine a country which is 1/6 of the world and 133 crore people staying in this one single country, not even one single decision will satisfy all these people. आज अगर 1-1 करोड़ रुपया हर एक के बैंक अकाउंट में भी डलवा दिया जाएगा, उसके बाद भी आप देखिएगा कि कम से कम 10,000 लोग ऐसे निकल के आएंगे जो तब भी गाली दे रहे होंगे, तब भी क्रिप कर रहे होंगे. Because it's a law of nature. अपने हाथ की 5 उंगलियां बराबर नहीं होती हैं, सर.
बिल्कुल, correct.
So you cannot, even in the best of the situation, people will be the most disservice. It's a human nature. It's a human, because that's God has given a separate mind, separate radar. The size of the radar in every head is different. You will receive instantly, some will receive little later, some will not even receive it. He says his radar will be out of order for throughout his life. There are
True.
people like that. So
True.
I think you have to not, I have learned one thing, sir, I tell you. I have never ever expected anything from the higher officials, because I feel that they must be putting their best, they must be giving the best, and we have to adjust with them. And my theory is, I don't expect anything from government. I can only say, or from the nation, rather, let me put it that way. I feel what I can do for the nation. What nation can do for me, I'm not worried. But what I can do for my nation, I'm definitely worried.
I agree. I mean, if one develops that zeal which you talked about, it's important. Then I think we will be a more happier nation, happier society. Although we already are a happy society, but still, as you rightly said, not all fingers are same.
Do you
So
know
we
that
always,
Bhutan is been ranked as the happiest country in the world?
yes, yes.
And I'm happy, because why I'm telling you Bhutan, because there are two countries where I've been given a title of father of new cinema.
Uh-huh.
Bhutan, I have prepared everyone initially in cinema, in films and television, and my students are doing extremely well there. And the Bhutan film industry is indebted to AAFT. And it's exactly in Nigeria also. And Bhutan, so I know many people in Bhutan, but when I talk to them, I didn't find them as happy as what Indians are. They're also cribbing, they also have some difficulties, they're also facing, but only thing is, they don't speak much.
True,
So
true.
they adjust with whatever decisions being taken by the government or the higher officials, and they have a beautiful nature of adjusting themselves.
Correct.
That's
Correct.
the quality of Bhutanese. And that's how this whole country has become number one happiest country.
True, true. I think adjustment is a very important component of everyone's life.
Right.
I think we need to learn. In fact, the speaking tree today also talked about the fact that if we were able to, have more patience and adjust with the nature, and if we like the water does, the water takes the shape of any form where it is put in. Now, if we are able to do that, I think we would flow like the water and will be benefiting the society and everyone, like it gives lives to every one of us. Two more questions before I open, and sorry, I'm exceeding my time by another 5 minutes or so, but I wanted to ask them to you. You have seen India grow. You have seen India, different shapes, colors, different regimes in the past. You have seen different governments also. You mentioned Nigeria, Bhutan, England, various countries you have seen. India's growth by IMF has been projected as 1.9% for 2020. That is actually, they look at calendar year. So this January to December 2020, not financial year like us. And for January to December 2021, they say 7.4%, a leap bound jump again from 1.9%. But even this 1.9% is very high because most of the other nations, developed nations and around the world, are negative, minus 7.5%, minus 3, minus 5, and so on and so forth. So in that period, if we are able to achieve 1.9% also, it's a great achievement in my opinion, personally, as an economist. But then I would like your perception. Having known the youth, the potential India has, what we have grown, do you think these figures are optimistic or conservative in nature?
No, see, percentages are, that always these are expectations.
Yes.
Expectations. We are going to be 5 trillion economy very soon. Expectations. Correct. Because yes. I think I love my Prime Minister because he always try to make a big vision. क्योंकि बड़ा सोचने में क्या जाता है भाई? सोचने की बात है ना?
Correct.
So always think big, because if you think big, you're bound to do something extraordinary. You're going to cross your own limits and do something bigger and better. So I think there's no harm in keeping the whole audience motivated, the whole industry is motivated. At least that will give you some kind of a provision to work hard and reach to a better stage. Mm-hmm. Now, right now, see, we Indians are very hardworking people. That's one very big quality which we have. Abhi kya hai ki the whole system is been pulled. It's like a rubber band which you have pulled like this, and it's in this stage. Like here. like a gulair, if you know that. It's a rubber band. And when the condition is going to be good, and this is going to because we have the capacity, mind you. We have the capacity, we have the money, we have the potential, we are honest workers, we have, and the best part is that this country has a huge demand of its own. And the best thing which Prime Minister has uttered during all these three interactions which has come on the television, that now we have to become a self-reliant country. We have to create everything within our house. And this is the right step today. And you will grow probably more than what you are talking right now. And 2024 is the target. If not 24, at least by 25, we will be 5 trillion economy. And the whole world will be actually looking at India. They'll be surprised.
Correct. I think I'm with you on that very well. In fact, I am fairly bullish on it because we are already at $12.5 trillion, almost $13 trillion economy on the PPP mode, in the purchasing power mode. So it is not something which cannot be done. And if we are able to strengthen our rupee value, we automatically become 5 trillion even today. So it's not something which is so difficult to do. If we let the RBI just strengthen the rupee value, and we would be a $5 trillion economy, because the potential within the country is fairly high. I'm very happy to hear that. In fact, a question came up through the web broadcast which is going on, and the question was typically wanting to know that the media which leads and actually influences the lifestyles of people at large, says that the way they project life, it all reflects and it shows that everything is about money and power. What's your opinion? Because when you look at newspapers, when you look at televisions, you don't see, a professor's work coming or a good work done by someone coming forth. But they're already very big celebrities opening up, curtains or doing big shows or doing something big. So
excuse me, I'm sure you're looking at the wrong channels. Do you know that? Do you know that we have the largest number of channels in the world?
Yes.
We have 970 channels. We have more than 100 news channels. We have 28 official languages. So imagine, my dear friend, I don't know which channel you keep on looking all the time. I'm sure anything and everything to do with economics. So it's a high time for you to change your channel and look some other also. No, and I think it's a wrong perception.
Correct.
Media, if you look at, let me just give a small statistics. We are the largest film producing country in the world. We make around 2,600 films in 28 languages.
Yes.
We have 970 channels in 28 languages. We have 40,000 newspapers registered with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. We have 4,000 magazines. The largest English and Hindi selling newspaper also publishes. They publish it from India. We have 320 radio stations working today. And you'll be surprised that we have 120 crore mobiles, out of which 40% mobiles are smartphones, 48 crore phones with internet connection. So this is what total media is all about.
True.
So you just cannot condense. These are what you're talking is it's an outcome of very few channels.
Correct. No, I agree. It's also a perception which is there. My last question is that the youth today and the students today are perplexed with this problem of plenty. When we grew up, you grew up, my father grew up, or I grew up, we did not have this choice of plenty. You go and buy milk, one milk. You go and buy bread, one bread. You go to an institution, they tell you which institution, you go to that institution and go forward with it. Today, whether it is education, whether it is channels as you outlined, it's this problem of plenty which is there. Now, given this problem of plenty which is perplexing, and now with the online structure, I'm happy that the government of India is now introduced about 12 channels, one for each class, I think, which will help bridge that gap between rural and urban India, because now everybody could have access to that education free of cost through this digital platform or television channels. And plus they have some disabled channels, which will add on to the list which you talked about, which will, I think, further education in opinion. But then when you are perplexed with this problem of plenty, it makes things very confusing, because I remember my time in the US, and I remember when I wanted to buy a bread or, I was looking for an ice cream, and then I saw a girl picking up ice cream and then reading something and keeping it down. And I could not understand. For half an hour, I kept watching her as why is she picking up and reading something and keeping it down? And I could not hold myself. And I asked, I'm looking at a 0-calorie ice cream. And I said, you are eating an ice cream and then you want a 0-calorie ice cream, which I did not understand and appreciate. You pick up, you want a chocolate or you want an orange or you want this flavor or that flavor. I understand. But then I also found it difficult to take what ice cream should I take, because there were so many options. And that I'm talking of 20 years back when I was at the World Bank in Washington, D.C. Even now with this problem, what is that you would like to advise to the youth and the students for their life?
Now, let me correct you here, my dear friend. Number one, it's an age of competition and survival of the fittest, mind you. Number one. Number two, that it's a sign of growth. Not one person is manufacturing, many are manufacturing. Number third, it's a satisfaction of your demand. You may like an ice cream with a salt, but I like ice cream with chocolate. He likes. So you are fulfilling the desires. You're converting desires into want. Because you were forced to have a vanilla because there was no second flavor. But today when I go, I have vanilla, I have chocolate, I have strawberry, I have pistachio, I have 100 more. So I'm bound to buy one. I am not going to turn my back and go away and probably buy a muffli. No, I'm going to buy only ice cream, and because I have such a huge big choice. Fourth is that when you are expanding, when you are creating so much, then you are actually generating new demand. It's not that there was a demand. One is that you're fulfilling the desire and converting it into a want. Second is you're creating a new demand. So this is the biggest sign of growth in this country, and this is needed. And if this is going to expand, trust me, we will be the most happiest and fulfilling nation of the world.
True. No, I agree. But my still question, what would be your advice to the youth and the students? Because, you and I have lived our age and we can still take a decision consciously. But how about them?
Only thing is that when you have no choice, you stick to one. But when you have a choice, you give someone ample time and energy to think about many. You know that, and that's the reason that today's students may be losing bit on our old culture, but on the other hand, they're becoming little more smart and proactive.
True.
When you have a choice, the exercise to mind is same an exercise what you use while playing a video game.
Correct.
Because it's giving you little strain on your brain to think why this one is good and why this one is not good for me. Ice cream, both ice creams are good. True. So this means you're sharpening up the mind. So I am not stopping students to not to think about it.
Correct.
Because when you are on a Google, you have the whole world under your fingertip. How can you stop someone? Can you look at only the Indian boundaries and not the foreign boundaries? That means you're giving him ample to learn, actually much larger than even our own expectations.
True. I agree. I'll now open the house and I have Professor Ashok Laha. Professor Ashok Laha is the CEO for Intera IT based from US, and I see he's very much in his office. Ashok has his company both in India and US.
My dear friend.
My dear friend, Sandeep. Yeah.
But in any case, he's an adjunct professor at the institute, so he's part of my family as well.
Lovely.
So, I always had that access to him on an extra time, like I always impound upon yours. I have that access on him as well.
Laha Sahib is genius.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandeep. I know Sandeep for first of all, Aman, you are doing a wonderful job.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Sandeep, I met you almost 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 15 years ago. And we got a chance to know you over the period of time, generally over the drinks and everything else, and even in the American Chamber of Commerce also,
Yeah.
and as a person. But today, I came to the office, and then when I heard that you are going to speak today, you impressed me quite a lot before that also, tremendously. You are a very successful man. Your face shows that, compared to the most of the people, your personality shows that you are a successful man. So I canceled my other meetings just to listen to you today.
My God, I'm obliged,
No,
sir.
honestly, that's why I came to the office. I got other meetings. I was wearing a formal dress, tie and everything. I got some people came in here to meet them, to go to that. So I want to take a few questions. I think I fully agree to one of the comment you made that Prime Minister doing a wonderful job. Prime Minister very positive, and Prime Minister doing a wonderful job for the last 60 days. I fully agree with you on that one. The two questions I want to ask you. One point you mentioned about that kid, the people, family, and everything else, that they learn from the family, family and school teacher. You made at the beginning of the statement. What happens to the people who come from the single family, single parent, or the broken family? I'm going to talk about the reason I'm asking the question. I got a number of people in the company, in my company, who came from the parents are from the work in cafeteria, and I have seen those kids, I spent time, I hired them, they graduated, hired them. They're wonderful people. They different, but they're wonderful people, they learned it. So what do you tell them that if somebody comes from the broken family or single family or didn't have the time, didn't have the thing which you learned from your parents or other people, what do you tell them? How do they can grow? They can be somebody. What do you tell them? How to motivate them?
No, very well said. I 100% agree with you, sir. The fact is, the bottom line, the first answer is that it is bound to affect their psychology. So there is no second thought about it. The student or the boy or a kid may be totally exceptional. Then I cannot say, which is only 1%, but it is bound to affect, because it's like if you're hurt in one of your leg, you're bound to walk little dicey. So this is like this. If one parent is not there, if parents are not there, if he's only brought up by grandparents, if surroundings are not up to the mark, there will be some kind of a weakness which that student will carry with him for a little while. Now, it is the duty of the single parent on one side and teachers on the other side in school to take care of those things. I mean, like, I know, because fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, I'm running a college level. So I have students coming in after finishing 12th. And trust me, I have a cell in my college. We go out of way to promote those students whose psychology is slightly disturbed because of one or other reason, because of their family background. So I'm very conscious about these things. Like, for example, I mean, I don't know whether I should say or not. One of the single parent came to me and he met me, and then he asked his son to please go out from my room. And then he told me, okay, I'm tired, sick, either I'll kill myself or I'll kill him. I'm tired and sick of this boy. If you can, this is the last chance I'm giving him. If he can rectify, if you can do some magic, then probably there is a survival. Otherwise, I will throw this boy out. Now, that boy, father could not understand that that boy has been actually grown up without mother. So all that love, kindness, compassion, politeness, which mother brings into life is missing. He's been brought up by a man. So that ruthlessness, cleverness, harsh words, that boy has learned. So we got into the psychology of that boy. We started working. I gave him admission. We started working on his psychology without even telling parents or even the child. And I swear on God, after 3 months, that father came to my room. He met me. He started touching my feet. I said, "What are you doing? You're even much elder to me." He says, "आपने क्या खिलाया है बच्चे को? ये बच्चा तो बदल गया. ये तो there is a transformation in this boy." Now, because I couldn't explain him what we did with him for 3 months, but we played with the psychology of that student. And slowly and gradually, thank God, we could spend at least 3 months on him. And that boy actually became a good, intelligent, decent, obedient, well-mannered boy. तो वो पिताजी बोले कि आपने खिलाया क्या? मैंने कहा मेरे पास कोई ऐसा फल नहीं है कि जिसके खिलाते ही बच्चा जादू से एक अच्छा बच्चा बन जाता है. It is only you have to work.
Yeah.
No human being is born good or bad. It is your surroundings which makes him a bad or a good. So when I gave him such a wonderful, creative, motivating surroundings to him, that boy slowly and gradually changed into a nice, good boy. And that's my certificate.
I fully agree with you, because I think the point I'm making is that I have met lots of people in our company who came from those different family. Plus their parents they came from the parents are, I probably say, or housekeeper in the company, that type of stuff. And we spend a lots of time with them. They come with a lack of self-confidence. We spend lots of time with them. I personally spend lots of time with them, and they grow wonderfully. They become a superstar in their life over the period of time, So yeah, we have to spend time with them to help them grow. What you did with that boy, I do lots of stuff.
And I have so many case studies like these.
Yeah.
There was a parent, he came with a girl and he said, okay, this girl has a very bad asthma, and she probably after 3rd or 4th day, she gets asthmatic attack. और ये बेहोश हो जाती है. तो इस पर ये जिद कर रही है कि मुझे फिल्म का ही कोर्स करना है, तो मैं इसको कैसे कराऊं? तो मैंने कहा आप छोड़ दीजिए, हम देख लेंगे. तो कहता है, do you have a medical facility? I say, I have all medical facility. Don't worry about that. But I studied that girl in 10 minutes. And I knew that this girl has been actually somewhere down the line been pressurized by parents and never to enter into film and television business. And that has resulted in, probably without knowing, even parents, they didn't realize, student didn't realize, that has added to her hypertension and ultimately to asthmatic attacks. So she joined. She did her 3 months course first, just trial basis. They estimated that 10 dafa to ye ladki behosh hogi. I swear on God, not even one day she falls sick. Parents extended the course to 1 year. For full 1 year, she improved on her health. Her asthmatic problems rectified. She became a better person, and she did so well in her life later. Reason, because parents could not understand the psychology of that girl who wanted to achieve something in creative arts, and parents were forcing her to get into some other course after 12th, and she had no guts to fight with the parents for her own decision. That resulted into psychology. and health. So you have to be very smart in taking decision. That's all.
Okay. Thanks very much. I think there are other people there. So thanks, Sandeep. We got a chance to meet you again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Sandeep. Bye.
Yes. Thank you, Ashok, for that deliberation and very critical aspect of life, which many of us are challenged with, and the problem we have no solutions to. And I'm happy that you gave these case studies, Sandeep, to actually highlight how could you actually resolve some of these problems, because every one of us in our daily lives face some of these problems. I'll go to now Professor Madan Mohan Goyal. He has been a former Vice Chancellor and also has been a full professor and head of the department at Kurukshetra University. And I would request Mr. Madan Mohan Goyal to kindly keep it short, because I would like to contain the program within the 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour program. But I want to hear Sandeep ji's, and I want to have your question as well. So I would request if you can continue to the question and brief remarks. Thank you.
Sandeep ji, it's nice to hear you, and you are very clear in your profession as well as in the industry, particularly film industry. And I am interested to link up one issue Aman has raised. Aman wanted that to induce happiness, what kind of education we should have. You know, basically, Sandeep ji, Bollywood film industry is playing a very important role in bringing smiles on the faces. I give credit to humor, practically the Kapil Sharma show. I simultaneously see even sometime crime reporter also, which disturbs my mind. So what I want to emphasize is basically the old values are changing and new values have not emerged. You were very clear in your perception on certain issues, but you have disturbed me on one issue when you were talking about survival of the fittest is the mantra now. What about the survival of the weak? Should they be killed? Should they be assassinated? Do they have no right to live? And how to reconcile this issue?
No, it's not that. I mean, like, point is this, that when you are in a classroom, not everyone can be a first-class student. That's law of nature. In your own house, you have 4 kids. Not all 4 kids will be as intelligent as the first one. So when you say survival of the fittest, that means I have learned one thing, that the seat at the top is always vacant. Remember that. So you have to plan yourself to catch that seat. And then for that, you have to work very hard. I have always believed in working hard. I'm the first generation in cinema. Nobody expected anything from me. People thought maximum that I will become one small-time actor, and probably I will earn my livelihood like a Johnny Walker or a side character kind of a thing. But then I knew that I have the capacity and I can raise that capacity with the help of hard work. There is no alternate to hard work. Students, people who are weak, whether you are in industry, whether you are weak in classroom, trust me, you can win the world with your hard work. My father has taught me only one thing, कि नन्हे मुन्ने बच्चे तेरी मुट्ठी में क्या है, मुट्ठी में है तकदीर तुम्हारी जिसको तुमने बस में किया है. The fact is that only by working hard you can change the lines of your hand. I swear on God, and I have a case studies for 2-3 years I have researched on this. मेरी क्लास में बच्चे एंटर करते थे, मैं उनके उंगलियों, इसके हाथ के निशान प्रिंट करता था और वो सारी 50 की 50-60 कॉपियां रख लेता था. फिर मैं उनसे खूब मेहनत कराता था. उस सारे 50-60 तो मेहनत करते नहीं थे, उसमें से 10 या 15 लड़के लड़कियां मेहनत करते थे. तो जो मेहनत करते थे तो वो मैं उनको कह देता था कि भाई ये तो सक्सेसफुल इंडस्ट्री में 100% होंगे ही होंगे. फिर जब वो जा रहे होते थे 6 महीने के बाद, साल के बाद, 3 महीने के बाद, उनके मैं हाथों के निशान फिर लेता था. I swear on my God, I used to see the change in these रेखाएं. तो मैं वहां से मैंने ये अपने फादर की स्टेटमेंट को प्रूव कर दिया कि अगर आप मेहनत करना जानते हैं तो आप अपनी हाथ की रेखाओं को भी बदल सकते हैं. And this is the mantra for all those people. मैंने तो एक स्पेशल सेल क्रिएट किया था कि जब मैंने फर्स्ट टाइम when I heard that someone after completing a film, television and media course from one of the oldest institution of the country, and he committed suicide because he did not manage to get even one single assignment for a few years. And that was the first and the last suicide in the country. After that, I have created a cell for my whole country. Okay, nobody will commit suicide from a creative arts. If you want to commit suicide, before that, please come and meet me. He says, why? Because I say, I have a work, I have a lot of work to do. You are committing suicide because you didn't get work. I am ready to give you work. Don't commit suicide. There is ample work in this country. इस मुल्क में काम ही तो है. इतना काम है इस देश के अंदर, मैं आपको बता नहीं सकता हूं. सिर्फ काम करने वालों की कमी है. The minute you make up your mind and you see that there's so much to work, trust me, you can go back, look back into your heart. The day lockdown was announced, the whole country felt sad, no doubt about it. And I swear on God, it's been 2 months, I don't even have a single minute. I'm more than busy what I was in my office. See, Aman Agarwal, he's gone mad with the work. He's got so much to work. Everything is on computer. Everything is on web. And every day he has one or other personality coming in. I mean, he has no time. He's much more busier than what he was. So it's entirely up to your own personality. People who crib, people who... See, I must give you 3 lines के काम शुरू करते नहीं भय से नीचे लोग, मध्यम तजते बीच में देख विषम संयोग, पर उत्तम वे लोग जो हर दुर्गम पथ झेल, दृढ़ता से बढ़ते कदम बाधाओं को ठेल. So what you need is a very strong determination to be successful in life. Rest, everything is going to follow.
Agreed, Marwah Sahab. Basically, survival of the weak is possible by becoming unique, and one can live even in this jungle raj of the survival of the fittest. Another important issue which Aman wanted, but you were not categorical when Aman wanted that you give a message to youth. I have been associated as the Director Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Shri Parambadur, and I was interested that the role of youth can be ensured in basically democracy and governance. Media has a special role to play in democracy.
That I have kept for the last word.
Anyway, I'm interested that you motivate the youth to enter into politics. Although I have developed some feelings about politics. Politics, people say, is a dirty game. Politics is art and science of doing wrong things. Politics is basically making excuses. But a person like you can motivate youth to come into politics so that they can make a change. We need to change our lives. We have to change our actions.
Unfortunately, people have considered politics as a full-time profession. Yeah. But it's always been basically a service to the nation along with whatever you're doing. And that's the reason all over the world, even businessmen, service-oriented people, then you are given a designation kind of a thing. And I'm so thankful to my government for nominating me the Chief Scout for India. You know that I'm a Chief Scout.
Very good, very good.
And 55 lakh youth, they are today in Scouts and Guides in 15 lakh schools of this country. I'm so lucky. And the last, this designation has been revised after 30 years. Generally, this designation has been with the Vice President of India.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandeep, for giving the percent.
Thank you, Dr. You know, I'm so impressed. I'm sorry I've exceeded my time, which I requested you for 45 minutes. It's already gone to 1 hour, 10 minutes. But I have a last thing which I would like you to highlight on. You know, you have been with the media and the entertainment industry. Can you give in just maybe in 2 or 3 minutes the changes you have seen in your lifespan and even before, the way Indian media and entertainment has grown, and where are we headed for tomorrow? Because, you know, it is a very key area which does bring some kind of relaxation to our mind. and to our soul in a great extent. And many people get inspired and seeing things, learning things from there. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but then mostly good. But if you could, being from this particular zone, what was the little bit of history, and then maybe where are we going for now?
Well, the fact is that there was a time when media and entertainment used to be considered as outdated, and it's meant for spoiling people. I mean, imagine those days, from that area to where parents are now pushing their children, okay, please go and get into media, because not only that you'll get exposure, you'll get prestige, you get money, and you are a popular, and I can say that I'm a father of so and so. So see the difference. It's a huge change from nowhere, from no level. There was media and entertainment industry never used to rank anyone. Today we are the 6th biggest industry in the country, and we are touching now 2,35,000 crore rupees turnover. 10 million people are working in this industry, and this industry is supporting another 10 million people with the associated industry like tourism, hospitality, travel, transport, catering, and so on, engineering, so many other. This industry is supporting. And then imagine today, only because of media, India has been known to the rest of the world. And you and me have seen our own position when we used to fly abroad, and we used to be considered as a second-hand citizen of this world. And today you are given an importance. You are given, oh wow, you are Indian. Right at the airport, people, while putting a immigration stamp, every immigration office in every country says, okay, so you are part of Modi, good. This is the kind of media has brought the whole world, India to the highest platform of the world. Now, we have to realize that there are always two sides of the coin, and when you're using media for a good purpose, there can be nothing better than this. But when you start using anything, any discovery or invention for a wrong side, then it becomes coronavirus, mind you. And
so thank you for that insight. Thank you for that insight. I'm very blessed to be hearing these views, because some of them have actually influenced me the way I have been thinking, and have given me my own thoughts of understanding. In fact, Ashok also said the other day the same thing, that his understanding, his feeling about going forward when he goes and meets businessmen across the globe, as against when he did earlier and now, although he's an American citizen based in America, and people respect him for what he has created. His creation is respected worldwide. But even then, he felt that as an Indian, as a reflection of being an Indian, he's been born in India, he's been blessed with India, he still lives in India, practically off of a period of his life. Every year he is in India, and troubled by people like me the other day. But then, he said that he sees that change in the eyes and the respect with people across the globe are doing exactly what you said just now and others have said. Thank you, Dr. Sandeep. I will be closing in 1 more minute. I'll just hold your pleasure for 1 more minute. I have to announce what we have for tomorrow and day after, and then I'll close. Dear friends, we are going to hold another series tomorrow and day after. We have Mr. Gopal Krishna Agarwal, an old friend of mine, again, someone I've known for over 20 years, who has seeped into politics, but is the economic think tank speaker for the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is the leading national party in the country today. And apart from that, he's a chartered accountant. So we are going to have a mix of both finance, accountancy, and lifespan of how he sees, and maybe some political insight also, because one always speaks out of one's profession. And then we have the other day another close associate of Dr. Marwah. He might be knowing her very well, Sonia Verma Singh. Sonia is again a good friend, and she is now working with Rajya Sabha TV. I've had the pleasure of having her interviewed me for various programs. This time it will be the other way around. So I will be interviewing her instead of her interviewing me, but it will be a good insight on how she has seen life, because she has been a model and then come to the journalism industry or the media industry. Thank you. Namaskar, Vande Mataram, and Jai Hind.